And that was the phone, and that was the police scammer, as opposed to the police scanner. Yes, I choose who I give money to. I don't give money to random people who phone me, so thank you for the call, but no thank you. Okay, once I've gone round the edges here, there's another batch of bees here. I will put us on GPS and just get this field finished quickly and evenly. I can't see where I'm going, so I'll jump in. Cedar is right on the edge there, that's good. I think once we get past the Land Rover, we will actually be fine here. This tractor needs to be cleaned again.
This time you better get out because I don't want to harm.
So, a couple of blobs across the top. You can see them from this far out, but as we get closer, the contrast gets a little bit more difficult. Now, one of the things I have discovered with precision farming and how it counts things is you're supposedly penalised if you cultivate and seed. Well, the thing with that is, that might be a case, but and you get a better score if you direct seed. But that doesn't stop you from cultivating and then direct drilling. So you don't get any bonus from the cultivating. You need to be careful about which cultivator you use, because I think some of them do have they'll bring up rocks for you, and you kind of don't want that to happen. But Saturday, set cardinal. But yeah, it's sort of you can get around penalties. So, for example, if you plough a field, it will never produce weeds, but you can still drive out on the field with a weed eater or I'm not so sure about a weed eater, but you can definitely drive out onto a field with a sprayer with herbicide in it, drive 100 feet, and it will then say, oh look, you've dealt with the weeds on this field, have a perfect score in your precision farming environmental score. So that's kind of a cheat, but it's a way around these problems that the game puts in front of us. So technically you're penalised for ploughing, but if you plant root crops or corn, you need to plough to get the best yield. So go ahead, get the best yield, use a direct seeder afterwards, and you won't get penalised for doing things. Basically what it's saying is you have to do more than you absolutely have to do in order to get the perfect environmental score, which is kind of dumb, because I think the idea behind getting the perfect environmental score is, well, if you're using a direct drill, you don't have to cultivate, you can do the cultivating and seeding all in one pass, so we'll give you an environmental bonus for not having to use your equipment twice as often as you need to, or at least your motorized equipment. And I guess similarly for some reason it thinks that using herbicide is better than using a weeder. Don't ask me. But you could use the weeder and then spray with herbicide afterwards to get the, oh, you used herbicide, because it only sees the thing you did that it scores the highest. So I don't know what the deal is, but it's a thing, so we will play the game that way, in spite of the fact that it kind of doesn't make much sense to do it that way. Anyway, how's our seed levels? We're 398, so we're doing fine. I just turned around, we'll get GPS back on. And I think I've now done enough headlands around the edge of this field such that this should end up fully planted.
That one, so I can mix 3 colors actually.
And I should probably check my tea. Yeah, tea's gone before it gets cold. And as far as starting tractors go, if you can find one of these on the used market, this is a really good starting tractor. You can put front loader arms on it, you can put narrow tyres on it, you can mount all the things. It's only got one engine, so you always get the best engine if it's used. And it's just shy of 250 horsepower. And actually, I don't want you to go there, I want you to go there. And we've had a lot of good use out of this thing. It's getting a little old, so it does cost us a bit to repair.
Renee. And this is Bob again.
We'll swing that around, so we are nearly done here. Oh, and I nearly forgot to lower it. Hope I lowered it in time. And that's done. So it looks like probably make going to be about 2 more passes before we're done with this. And I'm turning left because it does give us a little bit more space to get lined up because of the way the field is sloping. Okay. It's easier to get lined up if you approach from the long side of the field. Okay, you're lowered. Let's pull this through here and raise and turn it off. Turn it off. Okay. And how's that looking now? That is looking like a well-seeded field. Who are you? You are rolling guy, so you're rolling that, you'll come in here and roll this. We can now go seed that field, I think that's all the fields we need to seed. So we've got 2 fields to seed. We've got to do 57 as well. Or we could leave the oats till tomorrow. Why would I want to leave the oats till tomorrow? Because this is the only tractor I have that has stuff on it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, this is the only field. I don't like the look of that. So, let's go back. Lower that. there is a tiny bit in this corner over here that we missed.
Are those just weird potatoes, Mommy?
Oh. And that seems to be the problem. Okay.
I think this looks sick.
Oops. Okay. And there you can see the the invisible row markers are messing up my field. So I'm going to reverse that into the corner. That should seed that bit. And then I want to drive over where the row marker went so that we can fix that piece actually. Alright, let's turn that off, lift it up, get out of here. Now, one of the problems I do have with this is it's nearly empty again. And we've got a Land Rover in the way. Oh! So, I need to take this back to the arable farm in order to refill it. Another reason why having a bigger seeder would be a good thing for our farm, because it'll mean we can take more seed with us to get the seeding jobs done, and we don't have to plant a field, fill up with seeds, plant a field, fill up with seeds. So this is, barley is planted, we need to set for oats. Is that oats? It's canola. Yes, that was oats. So wheat, barley, oats. Now I'm not planning on doing anything with the oats right now, but might as well. Oh, I understand. Okay. So this seeder actually has an option. It's a good starting seeder, but there are issues. The issues are we've run out of seed. Well, that's not actually an issue with the seeder. We'll buy some more though. Uh, 5,000, 2,000, 5,000. Let's go 5,000. It's another £5,000 gone. So the issues are this thing has the little arms on the side. Let's go to purchasing seeders. Okay. So what we have is this John Deere no-till. It has ridge markers. These things that fold out so that when you turn around at the end of the row, you can come down the road that you've just marked and flip out the other side, so you're driving down and then you get to the end of the road, you turn around, you put that one out as you're coming back down that ridge. The problem is the ridge markers leave a mark on the field even if they don't exist. Capacity is 2026 litres standard, but you can add a fertilizer tank. Ding! Solid fertilizer tank. Now the solid fertilizer tank is 480 litres in that little bit there. And so that was the issue I'm having right here, is I've opened the door for the seed. And now I'm going to close the door for the seed. What that has done is open the door for the fertilizer. But because I don't have a fertilizer tank, pressing the open the door button doesn't actually seem to do anything. It's actually closing the door on the fertilizer tank. Now it's opening the seed door, and I should top that off. So let's close the seed tank. Let's close the non-existent fertilizer tank and back up. So a little bit of an annoyance. I don't think there are many other seeders where if you don't pay for the row markers, they actually misbehave on you. And I usually don't get row markers on small equipment because they really don't help much. Okay, I'm going to, so what? Massey Ferguson's still running. There's a, I'm going to hitch that up now. I did not check. Well, no, the fields that are planted I do not need to check. So let us bounce over to here. And again, we can jump out. So this field is, yeah, nitrogen is almost perfect, but we can top it off. And we're going to have to come back. The lime is awesome. So back in this and turn around. So we've checked all the fields over at this yard. Yes. And we planted all the barley fields. We've just checked the barley fields, so that's good. And oops, that up. We might as well carry. Well, let's clean this header off. And we can go and check out the other yard. So we might. I don't know if I'm going to do any more harvesting contracts. I could do. They're kind of. They don't pay well. But maybe a little bit more grains would be kind of useful. This poor little truck is having problems hauling this up the hill as well. So we check the field to our right, that's fine. I'm primarily checking lime in the fields because I don't know if I've done the right thing on that. And if I haven't done the right thing on that, then we might want to come out with a lime spreader, especially on those soybean fields that we just did things with. So I'm thinking, for what it's worth trying, I don't think this is going to fit in that shed just somehow. However, that shed back there might actually. Which way do you turn the wheel to get it to go where you want it to go? That's always a good question with these darn things. There we go. These are one of the hardest things to back up, especially with the size of it. But if I can get this under cover, then we can just park the harvester on whichever side has the most room. So it's way easier with a four-wheel steer or a tracked vehicle. Or a skid steer. Skid steers are good because, well, they're four-wheel steer. But they don't really steer much of anything. Oh. And again, we will pull forwards. Actually, I'm not going to say a word. I'm not going to say a word yet. But this is actually looking kind of acceptable, somewhat. Oh, I don't think I could do that again if I tried. We're going to leave that there. Please leave that there. Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of acceptable. It's not against the wall, but it's close enough. Let's go visit fields. So, the field ahead of us is barley. This is one of the canola fields which we're going to have to take a look at. So let's take a look at this one. pH is good, nitrogen is okay and sometimes perfect. Nitrogen needs a boost in this field because canola just needs all of the lime. No, all of the nitrogen. Okay, back down this way. So field to our left, that's the one with all the rocks in. I need to deal with the rocks before we mulch it. This field down here is ready to plant. I am not going to plant it right this minute. But pH is acceptable, it has a fair amount of nitrogen, that's fine. So, we'll park this up. Actually, I'm going to climb through this hedge. Check this field. So this field has absolutely lousy. We're going to have to put some lime down here. And nitrogen needs a top off. Just so that we're aware. But we're going to have to mulch that one. And then bring this in here. Where should we put it? How about in the corner here? Jump out of that. And let's make sure we don't get run over. This field needs... Actually, lime is fine. Nitrogen is just too much. I should put canola in that field. Maybe that's what I should do. We'll put canola in that field and just suck the nitrogen out of it, because otherwise it's going to be heavily nitrogenated, and I left the engine running. Alright, let's go spray some weeds. Oh, yeah. And weed spraying is one of the things you cannot tell from the map. So, we'll just run around the field and kill what we see. Off, we'll be able to see when it does spray things. So yeah, this is one of the jobs where having GPS or guidance steering installed is almost a must. Which is why this tractor does it and the others don't. Okay, that's on. That's on. Auto width is on. Set cardinal, escape, go. And how's about we actually engage the GPS before we drive? So potentially we could replace the booms on this, which means we can do things faster. I don't bother, primarily because longer booms make this a less wieldy vehicle. So I like the compact control. Obviously a sprayer attached to the back of your tractor is easier to control where the booms go, but the tank capacity is just sad. So I'm tending to use this one now because it has better capacity. Kill it. That's the way. So yeah, better capacity will get all the fields done in one go. Now, for herbicide, that's not such a big deal. You can see how much we're actually using here. We'll get, I think we've got enough herbicide to do every single one of our fields. So I'm not too bothered with the capacity when it comes to herbicide. But when it comes to fertilizer, I do tend to go out and do some fertilization contracts, and if you pick up a bunch of them, it just happens to be easier to then fill the tank up and just go around all the fields. On our fields, we don't use significant amounts of fertilizer because we're spreading so much manure on the field. That's taking care of a lot of the nitrogen requirements. Now, one thing I did not check was